Hi, this is Barrett Ristroff from Fairbanks, Alaska, and you're watching an excerpt from Climate Change Adaptation Strategies for and by Alaska Native Villages. Please check out my YouTube page for more video clips on this topic. In this video clip, I'm going to talk about food security, from finding new ways to obtain and preserve food, to continuing the lifeways that have nourished Alaska Native communities for thousands of years. Some communities are looking at ways to raise their own food, whether this is getting a greenhouse like Igiugig, or arranging for hatcheries or herding. Different species, and even invasive species, may be potential food sources. An example is the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, or ADF&G's wood bison reintroduction. In 2015, ADF&G released 130 bison near Shagaluk. Most of the herd is within 50 miles of Shagaluk, though some animals have ranged north along the Yukon. Of course, not all invasive species are good food, and some, like pike, can harm what is good food. The native village of Tyonek has held pike derbies to get rid of pike. Another strategy involves reviving or continuing to practice traditional skills to hunt and adapt. One interior community leader described how knowledge that had been limited was reborn as a way of adapting. He said,
10 years ago, only a few elders were getting whitefish. Now, since salmon have declined, more people are learning to fish, cut, and preserve whitefish. This is also true downriver with the muskrat population, which is returning. Younger people may not have the skills to trap muskrats, so elders are showing young people how to trap them.
The issue of bycatch is a bone of contention in Alaska, something worthy of federal attention. Limited bycatch donation programs exist, such as Sea Share, if villages are willing to accept bycatch. Some would rather just catch the fish themselves. In some instances, villages have voluntarily foregone hunting or fishing for the sake of conserving a species. Steve Ivanoff from Unalakleet explained how the community agreed to a voluntary moratorium on hunting moose for 3 years.
There was only one violation in 3 years. They eased back into moose hunting gradually over 5 years.
The idea was to not wait for the state to take action. Take it yourself. Tribes are taking matters into their own hands in many ways. One example is Kotzebue's program that subsidizes hunting supplies for those who hunt for elders. While many are doing more smoking and drying of fish at the household level, a number of tribes have worked to provide community freezers and meat processing areas. An example is Kaktovik's community ice cellar supported by renewable energy. One more way in which tribes are working on food security is to monitor food so they know when it's not safe to eat. An example is the Sitka tribe's shellfish monitoring program. Earlier, I talked about the politics of getting more control over subsistence. Here, I want to add a little more about ensuring subsistence opportunities. I mentioned the resource of Local Environmental Observer, which can report subsistence obstacles and hazards, as well as diseased animals. I'll go over a few other things that can improve safety and access. Many people take advantage of online forecasting resources, like the National Weather Service, that can help predict weather and ocean conditions. Ocean boating safety and communications can be improved by having automatic identification systems, or AIS, capacity on subsistence boats, and maintaining conflict avoidance call centers for safety purposes. One more idea to improve safety and access is to repair trails damaged by flooding and erosion. This is a way to use FEMA funding to support subsistence. Now I want to talk about protecting what some people call natural capital, habitat to support subsistence resources. As Paul Williams said,
With proper care, the land is really supportive.
there are a lot of grants out there from agencies as well as private nonprofit foundations for projects that restore or enhance habitat areas. An example is something that Elam is working on, planting trees along a fish-bearing water body to keep temperatures cool. One more thing. It's good to speak up about important habitat areas during scoping and public comment periods for agency decision making. It helps agencies justify decisions that protect habitat. Thanks to my musicians and participants, and thank you for watching. I hope you'll watch more of these video clips or check out my Google Drive for written strategies.